Today during Hurricane Preparedness Week, we're talking about strengthening your home, and we're joined by Dennis Hwang, faculty with the University of Hawaii Sea Grant College program, which is also part of NOAA. Dennis, thanks for joining us.
Well, thanks, John. It's good to be here, and there's a lot to cover with strengthening your home. Hopefully, we could show you a few things why you need to do it.
Excellent, let's get into it.
Okay, well, here's a house in Manalani Heights, and this is actually what happened in January 2021. And you can see the roof blowing off, not even during a hurricane, but just 20 or 30 mile per hour sustained winds, but then gusts to 40 miles per hour, and then topographic speed up, simulating a weak hurricane.
You can see the wind getting under the eaves and lifting up. What would help prevent that?
Well, good point. Yes, that's one of the first things we recommend people to do is to make sure they tie the roof to the wall with hurricane clips. But even before you saw the roof flying off, there's asphalt shingles coming off the roof, flying off the roof, and then the roof lifting off. So all of those issues really need to be considered when we try and strengthen a house. Roof is a very important part.
And when you talk about different hurricane clips, what are some of the different types options that you have available?
Okay, there are many different types of hurricane clips. You could see different types of HM9, very strong, and then this is H3 common, and then this one, HPT, was made specifically for homes in Hawaii. And between all of these hurricane clips, almost every single wall house in the state can be retrofitted. And we estimate that around 6,000 or 7,000 houses around the state have been retrofitted with this roof to wall tie.
And I guess talk a little bit about why you want to make sure that you keep the roof on. Obviously you need a roof, but what else does that impact as far as?
Okay, well, you definitely want the roof to stay on, so that's the first thing, and it's an easy retrofit. That's why it's one of the first things we recommend. The other thing, it actually works hand in hand with protecting the windows around your house. Because you can see here, you have a complete envelope with no wind or rain getting in the house. But here you have a breach. This causes internal pressurization and makes it more likely for the roof to blow off. So the idea is to protect your windows with window protection, and the window protection and the hurricane clips work hand in hand. So if you don't have the window protection, there's a breach, your hurricane clips trying to hold on the roof are working extra hard.
Well, you have some examples here of different types of hurricane, or different types of window coverings. Can you tell us a little bit about the pluses and minuses of these?
Sure, and there are many different options. You can see here's roll down shutters. This is what you have in your office here, okay? And then the Board of Water Supply during Hurricane Douglas put up hurricane fabric to protect their windows. This is plywood, the most common type of material. It's the cheapest also, but it takes the most time to put up. And then it's also heavy, but polycarbonate panels are just as strong and much lighter. And then here you see two more types of accordion shutters. This is a house in Kaimaki. And then impact-resistant windows, which are actually the most costly, but they're always in place. So they provide hurricane and burglar protection, and you need, it's tested as a unit. The window and the glass and the window is one. It's tested as a unit to be impact resistant.
So it sounds like there's some pros and cons, some things you have to think about.
Yes, the pros and cons are cost versus time to deploy. Again, plywood's the cheapest, takes the most time to deploy. Impact resistant windows, the most expensive, the least time to deploy because they're always in place. And then there's everything in between, and we don't encourage homeowners, you don't need to go to one extreme or the other because there's everything in between.
And every little bit helps.
Yes.
You don't have to do it all at once either.
Right, that's right. And the other thing too is you don't need all of one type for the whole house. It could be a mix, like say plywood at the first floor and something else on the top floor. Okay, And here we're just showing a roof where the shingles actually came off the roof, and you could see the rays of light in the roof between the plywood, the pieces of plywood on the roof deck. This allows water to come in during a hurricane. And then the next slide, you can see the impact of that. This is water infiltration. This house didn't even have major structural damage or breach from the window, but it was like an infiltration from the roof.
And as we learned earlier in Hurricane Preparedness Week, there's multiple threats, multiple hazards that come from a hurricane, not just wind, but also water.
That's right, wind and water. Okay, and there's really a lot to cover, so we encourage people to go to the Homeowner's Handbook. It's available online as a PDF file. You can get printed copies at the Hawaii Public Library System. And these are the things that the book covers: hazard risk, emergency evacuation planning, which is very important, home strengthening. The key thing first is tie your roof to the wall, then window protection, and then some of the other items.
Great. Dennis, we really appreciate you taking the time to talk to us about this. Thank you very much. And we'll have a link to the Homeowner's Handbook from this video as well. And thank you for watching, and stay tuned for Hurricane Preparedness tomorrow.